I ain't got any new personnel groupings for y'all today.
I want to ask you about Greg Robinson first. What is just his story here of getting a second, he called it a third chance today, and how well he's played over the last couple of weeks? What's he meant to your offense?
Well, I mean, Greg's performed very well. He's stayed hooked up as far as his knowledge and stuff and learning and continuing to work. We feel comfortable with Greg right now at left tackle, and he's playing at a pretty high level. He probably had his best game to date last week, and he's certainly going to need it this week.
In terms of Houston and their defense being ranked pretty well across the statistical board, how different is this game for you? I mean, you're always happy, obviously, to prove that you can do it in a win. You've done that twice, but is this kind of a completely different animal facing a defense like this with what you're trying to do?
Well, certainly their personnel creates some challenges from the standpoint of you've got three guys up front that are top in the league at every category. And then the rest, their supporting class, they've probably got the best front seven in football. They're playing very high level right now. And we've got our hands, we've got our work cut out for us from the standpoint of just getting on them and just blocking them. But we'll go down and fight. We'll know what to do, and we'll see where it happens.
In terms of what you can share, what gives you confidence that you can do some business against them?
Well, you play the game on Sunday at 1 o'clock, and we've got guys that are going to go down and compete and lay it out there on the line and see where we come up at the end. But we're not going to back down from anybody, and we're going to go down with a good plan, and we're going to go down and see if we can execute it.
What separates J.J. Watt from everybody?
His ability, his athletic ability, strength, combined with his relentless effort, his ability to move in short areas with his hands and things like that, creates problems for anybody blocking him.
Freddie, one of the obvious changes that we can see is more of a willingness to throw to Nick Chubb. Where was that hatched? Why is he getting more opportunities, and why, especially in the passing game?
I don't know. I mean, when he's open, he gets the ball. I've never said Nick doesn't have good hands. I don't know who started that rumor, but Nick has good hands. We've got three backs back in the backfield that's got good hands. Orson Charles has good hands. It's just some routes we'd rather other guys run than Nick. But as far as throwing in the ball, I don't have a problem with throwing Nick the ball.
Could you talk a little bit more about Greg Robinson specifically? What has he done so well to anchor that left tackle?
Well, I think just win one-on-one matchups, you have to be able to do that at left tackle, and he's won his share in the last couple of weeks. Not many pressures have come from the left side, and as long as he can continue to do that and it benefits the team, then Greg's in there, So he's accepted the challenge of going against guys on the other side of the ball and their pass rush and their moves and things like that, and he's done very well.
Baker Mayfield, in terms of obviously he's making some progress statistically and winning, but he's a rookie. Are you still looking at him in terms of you can only throw so much at him because you can only throw so much at any rookie?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that at all. I think Baker's developed a good grasp of what we're trying to do offensively. And, as we progress, it's a week-to-week game plan type thing. And he's gotten a good handle on each game plan every week we've played. And I expect nothing else this week. We're not holding things back on Baker. We want to continue to improve his development. I don't think you can't baby a quarterback into this thing. You got to throw him out there and see what sticks. And then it's my job and the rest of the offensive staff's job to decide what he's comfortable with at the end of the week. And he's got to be honest and tell me what things he's not comfortable with at the end of the week. So it's an open line of communication there between, him and I and him and Kenny Zampese. And, that's where trust comes into play. And right now we're doing a good job of making sure he's comfortable with the things that we've got in the plan. But as far as holding back, there's no holding back. There's not babying him into anything. He's doing a good job. He works hard during the course of the week. He puts time in after hours and before hours, and he's doing a good job of staying focused on the task at hand, inside of one play, inside of one read, inside of one practice, one game, and that's how you continue to progress. It's not overwhelming him or anything like that. It's just continuing his progress on a play-by-play basis.
After the game, Baker talked about the belief that you've instilled in him, and Jarvis just echoed it in the locker room. How do you go about getting the guys to believe, and how did that change in the 3 weeks since you've been in charge?
I'm not sure. I think just you put them in positions to succeed. All right. If they never can taste success and they don't know what that feels like, then it's hard to build confidence. And this is a game that you have to play with tremendous amounts of confidence if you want to be successful. And I think we're at a point where we're gaining confidence, and we're very confident in what we can do. We're very confident that we can win one-on-one matchups, and we're very confident we can make the right reads. We win on one-on-one routes. We can win in pass protection. And week to week, you have to go out and prove yourself again. It's this is a week by week business here. Next week we're going to be either riding high or the worst team in the NFL. So that's the way it goes. But everybody accepts that and moving forward, and we're going to lay it out there on the line and put it on the table and see where it falls.
What positive effect does it have on the offense when so many different guys are touching the ball in a game?
I think it's great. It's great for Baker. It's great for the guys catching the ball, and it's great, more importantly, for the offensive success because you're not singling out any one person. But to do that, you have to have the right people on the field, because somebody can't get upset because they're not getting the ball. They have to understand that person got the ball for a reason. And the quarterback has to know where his eyes are to get the ball in that person's hands, because he's the one open, and that's where his read takes him. And they know that on any given play they can get the ball, and that enables the offense to be successful.
No sacks in the last 2 weeks. How much is it the O-line and tight ends, running backs? How much is it Baker?
Well, I think it's all of the above. The line has definitely gotten better. The last couple of weeks, the quarterback's gotten rid of the ball, and the guys have caught the ball. The backs have protected well, and the tight ends have protected well. The receivers it could go on to like the receivers have run their routes at their proper depth and gotten their heads around. So, everything factors into that from the standpoint of no sacks. And the last 2 sacks we gave up a few weeks ago was mental errors. Now, in saying that, we've got our hands full this week. These guys can get after the passer.
Baker's a vocal guy. He expresses himself. He's not afraid to hold back his feelings. I mean, that was very evident this past week with some of the things that he said with you. And that, how do the players respond to that?
Well, first of all, I don't have a problem with Baker saying anything like that. The guy spoke what he felt to be true. And I don't know when it became big news to speak the truth, okay? And if that's what he feels, then he should voice it. I mean, Hard Knocks is in here, everybody's looking for a story. Well, he's giving you the story. He's telling you the truth. Everybody's wanting an inside look of the truth. Well, hell, that's the truth, all right? So, we go down to, Cincinnati, and arguably one of the biggest wins. I know there's people in that locker room that have never gotten on a plane to come back here on a road game with a victory. So they didn't know that feeling until then. But suddenly, it's big news if we don't want to turn it into a kumbaya after the game and turn it into fist bumps and hugs, I don't think Baker disrespected anybody on what he said. He spoke what he felt. And, I don't know. I would say that I don't have a problem with it. At some point, all right, everybody's going to realize that it doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter what anybody says in Cincinnati, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, nowhere. It's about what's said here. And more importantly, It's about our fans, our organization, and our locker room, most importantly. It's about what those guys in there feel. And when they start believing that, which they do, then you have something. And I think that's the point we're getting to.
I think the point, well, if there was any disrespect brought up, it was about when he called Hugh fake on Instagram. Did you agree with that?
I don't have Instagram, so, I do have Instagram. It's just private, so maybe that's. I don't know
He
anything.
did call him fake. I mean, so what's your take on that?
I don't know anything about that, and I'm not going to speak for that. But again, I promise you this: Baker's not going to blow smoke up anybody's ass. All right. So, if he said it, that's what he feels, and I'm standing behind Baker Mayfield. All right. I don't care about anybody that doesn't work in this building and what they think about what he said. All right. That's what I stand behind. It's him and these players in this locker room.
How do you think Jarvis has handled the declining targets that he's gotten so far?
I don't think it's a problem. I think, I think he would answer that the same way if I know him well enough. Jarvis understands that there's progression in routes and progression in reads, and if he's covered, somebody else is open. And Baker's done pretty well the last couple of weeks of finding guys that are open. So I think ultimately, again, I think everybody tries to make things that are bigger than they are. All right. And ultimately, it's about winning, all right? And when you start winning, people want to find other stories. I told you guys this in the spring. Players chase stats and media chases controversy because both of them equal money. It's about how many hits you get on the internet. It's about how many, viewers you have. So ultimately, if we can stay together in the locker room and not let anything like that divide us or any Instagrams or anything like that divide us, we're going to be fine because the only people that matter is in that locker room.
I did see one national analyst writer, forget who it was exactly, say that Freddie Kitchens should get an interview to be the head coach. Has that thought crossed your mind, and how does that hit you?
I find it funny, people didn't know who I was before, this all happened. Let me tell you how that happens is if you're not sending out propaganda and advertising for your next job, that happens. So people know who you are at that point, okay? So I've never advertised for a job, and I never will advertise for a job. I had a coach tell me, Gene Stallings told me a long time ago, if you want another job after the job that you're doing, then do that job well. And that's what I've always tried to do. And, I've had jobs. So I'm going to continue to do that. I don't know about that. If somebody recognizes that and they want to do that, that's fine, but I'm not concerned about that at all. I'm just doing my job right now.
Freddie, you said it just briefly when you got up there, but what exactly is this thing you told Nick Chubb? Is this a couple plays? Is this a series? What do you got going on?
I mean, I told him that, he could call the plays if Georgia wins, so we'll see. I changed the play today to roll tide, so he wouldn't even run the play, so I don't know. I had to come up with something. He wouldn't even bet me anything. I tried to get him, Drew Stanton a couple of years ago, Michigan State played Alabama, and you guys should try to find that picture, too, by the way, of Drew Stanton in my jersey. I tried to get Chubb to make that bet, but he wouldn't make that. He said he couldn't put it on, so we had to come up with something.
So you don't get anything?
No. Just kind of a charity deal there.
Last one. The offense had been so bad early in games in the first half of the season, and now, against Cincinnati, it was 5 straight touchdowns if you take out the end of the half. Why are you guys having so much success so early in games?
It strictly goes to the execution of those guys. They're doing a great job from, just because practice ends on Friday doesn't mean you have work. You've got work still that needs to be done from Friday afternoon until you kick off at Sunday at 1 o'clock. And those guys have done an exceptional job of cleaning things up and, making it work on Sunday and has been focused coming out of the games and they've done their job and executed. It's all about execution. And those guys have done a good job executing.
Can I just ask one more about, I like your philosophy about just that locker room. So just talk about how do you get everybody to shut out all these distractions? Because when you look at, like the Steelers, they do a good job of that. So,
Well, I think, first of all, it's very hard for kids these days to do that because of Instagram and Tweety and all that kind of stuff, okay? It's very hard because they've always got people telling them things that they should want or they need and things like that. Sometimes kids, that's what's so refreshing about Baker. You don't have to tell him what he wants and needs. He's got it, okay? He can be honest with himself. So in saying that, if everybody in the locker room stays together, which is very harder today's times than it has been ever, you've got something special. Now, how do you accomplish that? It's trust and respect. All right, that's how you accomplish it. If you ever lose those two things, which are huge in our business, you have nothing. All right.